From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Louie B.
This weekend, this Friday, in fact, United Way of Halton and Hamilton are taking part in Sleepless in Our Cities. And taking part is our very own Chris Van Zeyl, who's with us now. And Chris, this is the second year you've done this in a row. And it's not because you love sleeping in your Dodge Charger. It's because what this represents. What does this represent for you?
For me, it represents a really tough night for a great cause. And, it's hard for me to do it for one night. I can't even imagine what people out there are having to do night after night in this cold, in the rain, in the snow. It doesn't matter. It's not easy, and this is for them.
It really is an experience of putting yourself in someone else's shoes. And we know that there are more than 300,000 people across Halton and Hamilton who rely on United Way's services. But to that point, what did you take away from the experience last year? And, not even to help you with this time around, but what did you gain from taking part last year?
Oh, I mean, there's not really any way to prepare for it. I think that's what I took from it. It's a grind, and I bundled up really well. I wore long johns, probably two other layers, two jackets, or not two jackets, but two layers and a jacket on top of that. Wore a toque, wore a balaclava, I wore everything I could think of, and anything that's I've ever experienced, whether it be hunting or otherwise. You learn that you have to layer up. Well, I layered up, and I was still really cold when I woke up at whatever time in the morning. I think it was 6 or 7. And I think that's what I kind of learned from the situation, is that there's not really a set amount of layers or anything you can really do to prepare for it. And yet people have to do this night after night. And it's really tough to think about someone that having to do this night after night, and whether you know people or not. Maybe you don't know anybody that's in this situation, but regardless, it's an opportunity for you to go out and help them for one night. And United Way has given me the opportunity, and I'm going to run with it.
Yeah, and the United Way, they have more than 120 different supported programs that they give back. And I think, an awesome way to support is obviously by donating, by, learning what the United Way does. But when you think about those programs, a lot of them are designed for families. And I know you're someone with a young family. And how does that help you put into perspective what you're doing, not just, again, with this, but taking part in a larger United Way program?
Yeah, I mean, for me to have to endure this is one thing, but if I ever had to kind of put myself in someone else's shoes and watch my family endure it as well, that'd be something completely different. And it's tough to think about, but you have to find that level of uncomfortability and find a way to kind of push it to this cause, I think. And it's very rewarding to be able to do something with the United Way and can contribute to our society. And I think it's a great opportunity for people that aren't involved to aid these people that are doing this night after night. For me, I'm sleeping in the car, and that's rough. But for those who either can't or don't have the time or whatever to participate in the cause, then they have the opportunity to sponsor or help me out, which in turn helps the United Way out, which helps these people out. So
well said. Chris, I can't have you on here with not being able to bring up the fact that our moms ran into each other at Fonthill Sobeys on Sunday. Yeah, big day. Apparently Betty handing out Chris Van Zeyl player cards in the aisles of Sobeys. So I gotta get that in. And I do gotta ask you a football question here. The offensive line, the signing of Alex Fontana, Jesse Gibbon coming back. That's on top of you. Coulter's coming back. Joe Benz is, when you look at this offensive line with Coach Gibson returning in 2022, what are you feeling? What's kind of what's the feeling going into this new season?
There's a level of excitement for those that are coming back and for the new faces that I'm going to see come May, I think 11th or something like that anyways. Come May, it's very exciting. Anytime you get to talk about football and getting back into it, it's very exciting. And yeah, it's pretty cool to see some new faces coming in, but it's also great to see the old guys, some of the old, maybe not so old, the only old guy, but see some of the guys that have been around come back. So
yeah, should be great. Chris, good luck this weekend. Like I said, it's going to be a chilly one. You've done this before, but I know it's tough. And like you said, it's one thing to do it for one night. It's the night to have to do it forever. And that's why we're so supportive of what you do and what you're helping to do with United Way at Halton. Thanks so much for doing this, brother. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Louie. Really appreciate your time.